Mark. Pleasure having you here on the show, the Highly Recommended. As I was saying a little bit ago, here we don't review, we actually highly recommend uh, anything, people, places, products. If it's sought out, if people are highly recommending it, we try to have them on our show. And you are someone, you and your brother are definitely people that are highly recommended, especially here in the cannabis industry. So how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Doing well. Happy to be here on Highly Recommended. Thanks for having us. My brother is, he's a little older than me. So sometimes when it gets later in the day, he's taking his naps and stuff. Plus he drinks.
Understood. What time is it where you're at?
It's 6 o'clock here in California.
Oh, you're in California? Nice. So what made you be out in California, especially getting into the cannabis law?
Well, I've been in California for 52 years now, my whole entire life, right? Born and raised in Cerritos, California. So this is where I'm from. So when I decided I was going to go into law, back in 1992, because I wanted to follow in my brother's footsteps in some respect. He had been an attorney for 10 years and was doing quite well. I was looking for a way to make money so I could finance plays and films I was writing. I grew up as an actor and went to school for that and entertainment and all that kind of stuff. So my end game was making money to finance plays and films. Figure my brother went to law school. He's doing well. If he could do it, I could do it. So I went to law school for that reason, to make money. When I came out and became an attorney in 1996, when I got sworn in, that was the same year that here in California, Prop 215 was enacted and passed to give cannabis patients their rights. And what started immediately happening was cannabis patients were getting arrested and charged with felonies. And so I went right into criminal defense and started because being a cannabis user, I was like, hey, there's a law now that says this isn't supposed to be happening, but it was. And the law wasn't that it wasn't supposed to be happening. It was a felony first. And then you had to go in and defend yourself by using what was given under the guidelines of Prop 215, your doctor recommendation, and the other things like that. And so I started going to court representing people who were getting felonies to make sure they got those cases dismissed. And that led into basically go back 10 years later, my nephew, my brother's son, was always interested in cannabis from a young age. And when he turned 18, 19, he wanted to grow and be a caregiver and help people with it. And he had a green thumb for it. So that's when we knew that we had to become really prolific and schooled on all of the areas of cannabis laws as they relate to business here in California, which back then you had to be a not-for-profit cooperative, a collective, not-for-profit, and there were certain ways you had to operate so that when you got busted and hit for felonies, like my nephew did over a 10-year period, picked up like 7 different felonies, and we got them all dismissed, and we got everything back because he was operating properly within the guidelines of the law.
Like everything back as in like they actually handed the product that they seized back to you guys?
Yep, we got court order to get it back. We went in, there's a nice Instagram post somewhere, because this is, a long time ago, but we kept the video and posted it, and we repost it sometimes, and it's us going in Newport Beach Police Department here in Orange County, California, and walking out with a box of everything that they initially seized and wrongfully seized and confiscated. And we got it all back because, one, we were able to prove the law enforcement personnel violated my nephew's rights, his constitutional and civil rights, and did an illegal, unlawful search. And because of that, we were able to get the case dismissed. Because he was operating within the guidelines of the laws as they were back then, we were able to get everything back. A lot of our cases people are just in the black market. And when they get busted and we can beat the rap because the cops screwed up and violated their rights and didn't do everything properly, we get the case dismissed, but they're not getting anything back because when you're operating illegally, you can't get it back.
Understood. Now, when was the time that you guys came up with the script? Like, what made that come about? I'm sure it was years of experience that made you guys come up with that 15-second script, but what really brought it about?
Well, so my entire legal career as a criminal defense attorney, going back to 1996, right from the get-go, you teach your client, you shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. I mean, that's it, and you never consent to searches. And, we've always told people and clients this, our whole careers. When we fell ass backwards onto social media and Instagram and realized we had some sort of platform here that we could help people, we, in the beginning, as California attorneys, we can only practice in California law. And in California, cannabis patients, this is where we were bred, cannabis and cannabis patients in California. And driving around out there, cannabis users are the ones who get screwed with the most by the cops. What's that smell and all that kind of shit. And so we figure, let's gear this towards cannabis users and how to deal with cops and what your rights are and what you should say to them. And as you mentioned, 15 seconds. On Instagram, when we started in 2015, they only had 15-second videos. So we were trying to, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? And we started, if you go back to the very beginning, our first set of videos was about 5 or 6 15-second videos of what to do during a pullover. And back then, there was no script that we had developed. It was just the theory and idea. You don't talk to cops. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm invoking my fifth. And I'm not consenting to searches. And then as we were seeing, we were getting tons of engagement and lots of questions, we were like, we need to develop something that is easy for people to use and understand. And so let's come up with just the least amount, because brevity is key, in lots of things, and especially law. Let's do this. How can we do that? And we started messing around. We had 60 words, we had 50 and this. And then eventually over the course of several months of posting stuff and we have different cards. I'll show you the business cards we made. The back of our cards, let's see where we go. Oh, there we go. That has the script on it. And so over the years, we went through several versions of this with different, some had more words and less. And then we ultimately settled on these 25 words, which I'll quickly repeat. Why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? And if detained, you say I invoke the fifth. And then everybody's favorite part, you shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. And that's what I believe is what helped make it go viral and just crazy connect with people. People like to say and hear the word fuck, and it's taboo, and you're not supposed to say it, but the way we're using it, it's like, oh yeah, and that's what we get now. We're the shut the fuck up guys. I go to the store, hey, you're the shut the fuck up guy. We don't talk to cops, so we had no idea or never could have imagined that anything like that was going to happen. When
you guys blew up over the years.
Yeah, and it there's distinct markers that I can point to as to how everything escalated for us. Like when we first started, my nephew that I told you about, for years, going back, whenever Instagram started, which maybe was 2013 or 14, I don't know, or 12, but whenever the hell it started. My nephew is, you guys got to get on Instagram. You got to get on Instagram. And, I looked at him like, oh, there's naked chicks and bikinis and pot pictures. And I'm happy. I got 5,000 friends on Facebook. Took me 8 years to get that many. And, I'm fine over there on Facebook. We're old men. What are we going to do on Instagram? And we were like, no. And he kept every now and again, you got it. And then January 22nd, 2015, my nephew comes to our office. And I'll say this, my nephew now owns one of the biggest cannabis brands here on the West Coast called West Coast Cure.
West Coast Cure?
Yeah, West Coast Cure. His handle is J Cures. And, he's out there all over the world with the Snoops and the Whizzes and all that stuff. He's out there doing his thing. And
that's great for you guys though, right?
Oh, well, absolutely. And what's great now is when people who know both of our different brands, but they separately, and then they see, oh man, that's his uncle and his dad. Wow. That's, it's a whole family type of thing. And he's the reason we became prolific and what we need to do to protect him, and he comes to our office this one day and says, hey, I've got some friends who are looking to interview attorneys and on an interview show, but they want to talk about the laws that are changing. This is in 2015, just before Prop 64 for adult use was going to pass in 2016. It was just coming out. So they wanted to talk to attorneys who would also smoke. And my brother was like, hell no. I'm not smoking in front of anybody. We're going to get in trouble. He's older. He's more conservative. I'm like, where is this? What is it? What is it? I'm interested. I want to do it. Is there a camera I can get in front of? Let's go. And so my nephew goes, yeah, it's Be Real TV. And so I'm like, well, I know Be Real, Cypress Hill. That's my era. I grew up listening to that stuff, but he's on TV. What channel? He's on NBC. And this is how ding dongy me and my brother, I didn't know you. No, it's the internet. It's internet based. It's on the internet. And he has a show on his network called Getting High with a guy named Adam Ill was the host of that show. And me and my brother talked about it for about 5-10 minutes. I convinced him that, look, we're at a private studio. We have our physician recommendation here in California. We're allowed to use. And if it's in a private place, you're allowed to do it. So let's do it. Who's going to be watching this anyway? Bunch of stoners. So, he was a little, what if the state bar sees us and we're going to be smoking? And, at the end of the day, we said, you know what? We're not breaking any laws. Fuck it. The stigma needs to change. And people need to see that professionals do this. And there's so many people in what we call the green closet. So we told my nephew, okay, we'll do it when. And this is exactly how my nephew is. Right now, we have to go up to their studios. And he had just popped into our office and, probably had just come from Europe or so who knows where the hell he was. It's funny because people ask, where's your nephew at? I go, come on, I'm his uncle. You think the last person a nephew is going to tell where they're at is their dad and their uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
We are. So it's become kind of funny, but we said, okay, let's go. So we buzzed up to Be Real Studios and we did this talk show with Adam Ill, great guy. So he actually did the first interview. We weren't Pot Brothers at Law yet. We were just two brothers who smoked pot. And Pot Brothers at Law was a joke that about 7 years before that, me and my brother were in the parking lot of our office, which is now known as the set of our tip of the day, where we do all our tips and everything. And we go out. What's that?
I said that's where you guys do your tip of the day, right outside.
Yeah, that's the parking lot of our office. And that's where we go out and smoke on our smoke breaks. Every 5 or 10 minutes, we go have smoke breaks. We come back in, we do a little work, and then we go smoke again. And so I was doing a lot. I do criminal defense, and my brother does business and corporate transactions and stuff like that. And so I was getting a lot of cannabis cases, a lot of pot cases back then. And I said, it's funny. We're brothers. We smoke pot. We're attorneys at law. Pot Brothers at Law has a kind of funny ring. I'm going to make cards and give them to my pot clients, kind of as a joke. Pot Brothers at Law. So we're at Be Real Studio. We do this interview, and it was about 2 hours. It went, just flowed. Callers were calling. We smoked everything in sight. My nephew goes, you got to start your Instagram page. Take pictures with Be Real, and you got to start your Instagram page.
Start getting it growing as fast as you can.
Yeah, and so my brother, who's, he's my older brother, and he knows nothing about social media. He did, unbeknownst to me, he was sitting there in Be Real Studios, and he created the Pot Brothers at Law Instagram page, which I still, to this day, it pains me because when we, at the end, well, where do you follow us? POT_brothers_at_law. You have to have the underscore in each one because, and I learned this along the way when we were doing Instagram, when you go, as my brother did, pot space, brothers space, that space creates that annoying underscore.
Yeah.
So, I was like, you should have just put it straight through, which now that's our backup account. But we created it, took some pictures, threw it up there. And then, because it's like anything else I do that I don't know about, I'm going to research, study, and learn. Right? So I didn't know shit about Instagram. Other than that, there were pictures, a lot of pictures with chicks in bikinis holding pot and nothing about nothing educational. I didn't see anything back then. And then it was only 15-second videos and pictures you could.
Yeah.
So we decided we're going to post some, pro cannabis things about the law. And then we decided for videos, what can we do? And we started thinking of tips that we could give really quick. And that's when we started with the 15-second tips, series of tips on what to do when you get pulled over, especially if your car smells and all that kind of stuff. So,
as an Instagrammer or someone who uses Instagram a lot, I noticed that you guys were one of the first few people to actually start providing information about cannabis to help cannabis users. Not many people were doing it, and not many people were doing it all the way until like last year in 2019 is when it started to pop off with, hey, let's start providing information. And then mid last year, people started jumping over to TikTok to provide information. So thank you for that. You and your
there's a lot of copycats, which we love, and some of them get letters from our attorney because we trademarked "shut the fuck up" in the script, and we have everything trademarked. So but it's great because most of our letters are, hey, give us the proper credit and you have at it. Let's teach everybody. And so, but again, I had no idea that it was going to turn into anything other than let's give out some free information and maybe we'll get a few clients out of it. Who knows? And once, I'd say about 3 weeks in, we had 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 followers. And like I mentioned earlier, it took me 8 years to get 5,000 friends on Facebook, right? So
the GameStop stocks right now.
it was like, okay, something's going on. I need to figure this out and see how best to use Instagram. And so I literally for like 4 days in a row, 20 hours a day, I had my phone in my hand. And that's the first annoying thing I learned about Instagram. I went to the website on my computer and you can't do shit. It's all on your phone, which I'm like, fuck, I'm I don't like holding my fucking phone, but that's what it was. So I researched and read articles on this and that and following people. And, you got to follow people to get followers. And so I was like every day, ding, 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 ding. I was following 10,000 people. But then all the people with large followings, well, they hardly follow anybody. So I got to start removing people. Bing, 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 I'm removing people. And so I played that game for a couple of weeks. And then we just started, and I got hit up by a company. Oh, you could buy followers. Like, fuck, I ain't doing that. Yeah. And we organically just started growing. And from 2015 to December 25th of 2018, we had 120,000 followers.
Wow. What are you at now?
Well, and that was 3 years, right? And so I put us on every social media platform from Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn, and everywhere, just to have a presence. And I wasn't active on anything but Instagram and Snapchat for the most part. But I had notifications set for everything because for attorneys, somebody hits wherever they are, I got arrested last night, I need an attorney. You know, then that just takes one, right? So, and I don't want to miss anything, any calls or anything. So I have specific notification sounds set for each different platform when a message would come through. And I'm anal like that, so I would never miss anything. My Facebook page for Pop Brothers at Law would just go ding. And I would hear that maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. A thing would come in from Facebook. And so I'm on vacation with my wife and kids, December 25th, 2018, Christmas. I'm on the balcony where I'm at, smoking a joint, and my phone starts going ding, 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 ding. And this notification just is going, I've never heard it before. Thought my phone was broke. I turned it off. I turned it on. It's still going crazy. Wow. And then I get on my computer and I'm getting all these Facebook notifications. I'm trying to follow the likes and this and the reposts and the shares.
Just trying to play catch up.
I'm trying to figure out where, because I know something's going on. Somebody posts something. I got to figure out where it came. So I finally found it. It was a Facebook page called Respect My Region, which is back then was kind of smaller page, political hip hop page, and they did all sorts of shit.
Mention Joey Bravo.
That's him. That's my guy. So he posted one of our Shut the Fuck Up Friday videos where we talked about a raid at an illegal shop. 3 people worked there, got busted. 2 of them said, I volunteer here. And you can hear him saying it in slow motion. I volunteer. Because it's like, no, don't say. And the other guy follows us and shut the fuck up. Case dismissed. And so that post they posted, a guy named Roger Stone. We know who Roger Stone is. Do you know who Roger Stone is? If you don't know out there, he's the big political strategist who was sentenced to 8 years and then Trump commuted his sentence. He reposted that and said, these should be my lawyers. And, you know, he's a guy who never shuts the fuck up. So the irony of it was great. But his repost of it, then everybody from Snoop to P. Diddy to Rappaport to just World Star. And
from there,
I can't even tell you. And so after that happened, within 3 weeks or so, Michael Rappaport called us to be on his podcast. We went out to his house and did his podcast. Ridiculousness wanted to license our video and use it, and we did that. Tosh.0 wanted us to come on. Yep. Wanted us to come on, do an interview. So that's, if you Google, Tosh.0 Pop Brothers at Law, the episode comes up. It aired last year. And, for the last 5 years, since the beginning, after about 6 months of being out, we've been hit left and right from different production companies wanting to do reality shit with us. And we've been batting it away and like, no, until just within the last 4 or 5 months, we met a group of guys that we believe understand what we're doing. And we think it might be the actual right fit. So we've got a potential reality docu-series, not a reality show, a docu-series coming out potentially soon. We'll see what happens. But that led to that one, that Respect My Region, Joey Bravo. We're good buddies
Shout
now.
out to them, by the way.
Absolutely. And in turn, our success, helped them and helped them grow. And whenever I get on anything, that's, I'm always telling this story. That's how we really went to the stratosphere. And now we have, 468,000 followers on Facebook. We're on TikTok with over 100 some odd thousand and just everywhere, just all over social media. And that video, I stopped keeping track at like 500 million views all across all of social media. And I mean, just look, in fact, on Twitter, I haven't looked in quite some time, but Cypress Hill reposted that, and it had 40 million views all by itself on Cypress Hill's page. So that's really how it shot to the moon. And we've just been running with it, we have the podcast Cannabis Talk 101 that we've now partnered with iHeartRadio, and we do that. So, we've just kind of rode this wave. And as long as we get these messages every day from people across the country and in different parts of the world where what we teach is still applicable, except for invoking a Fifth Amendment where you don't have it. They have other rules and laws, but shutting the fuck up, as we've been told by other attorneys and barristers and solicitors, as they're called in other countries, that it works. And so we get messages from everywhere that they did it, and the cops let them go. It's awesome.
So that's real quick to jump back a few. That's talking about LinkedIn. That's how I actually connected with Mitch and Joey, and then got into more conversations with you. I actually talked to your brother through Instagram, and then just ended up communicating with you via LinkedIn and now Instagram as well. So anyone that's out there that's trying to utilize social media platforms, always utilize Instagram, LinkedIn. Just feel free to reach out if you're one of those people that are afraid. But you being an actor as well as a lawyer, because I did see that you have an IMDb an account with a movie background. Is this docu-series going to be independent, or is it going to be like an independent production, or is it actually going to be taken over by a well-known production company?
We're going to produce it. It's going to be ours. That's the plan.
Okay.
And then we're going to sell it. And we'll see which network wants it, and then we're going to be heavily involved in the creative process, no matter where it goes. And so we'll see. We're not expecting anything. We did not get into this to get a reality show or anything, which is why we've said no for 5 years to so many different people that have come at us. And, it's just a matter of finding the right vehicle that is going to help just basically take what we're doing and give us even a bigger flat platform to help people and teach people all about their rights and to normalize cannabis use and further break that stigma.
Well, over here, I'm in Florida, East Coast. There's still a very large grain closet that many people aren't trying to step out of because Florida's pretty conservative.
Yeah.
In regards to their laws. So I actually had a question from a few Floridians, if you know the law or if you can answer it for Californian people. When it comes to gun laws and medical marijuana cards, is it okay to have both, or is it illegal?
It's not illegal. In California, it's not illegal. Now, here's the thing. So somebody who, and we're talking about licensed, registered, permitted guns and, legal and lawful and all that stuff, right? So somebody who owns a gun like that and has their medical card here in California, you have no issues. No issues. Okay? Now, if you have your medical card and you want to go and apply for a license for a gun, you're going to get to a question that talks about illegal drugs. Now, how are you going to answer that? I can't tell you. Personally, well, you're looking at a form that says you use illegal drugs. No, this is legal in California. No. Oh, but it's federally illegal. Maybe I should. So that's going to be an individual choice that a person's going to have to make. Now, there are some states, and I don't know off the top of my head, that they're taking away gun rights if you have the card. I think Hawaii was one of. I think Hawaii might have done that. I'm not sure, but so it's
a terrifying idea, though, especially as a cannabis user and activist. I mean, I love guns. I wouldn't want to have my card or anything taken away if that was the case.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be that. Now, I see you're smoking. So what you smoking on, or what's your favorite strain?
Well, I'm smoking my West Coast Cure Hardcore OG, right? So that's my family, my nephew. That was like his original go-to for me, and that's what it's always been, just West Coast Cure Hardcore OG. Same with the dabs. I got my dab rig here, and I dab, I vape, I edibles. I use any way I can get my cannabis. I even got one of these cool new inhalers.
Okay. Now, does that actually work? Does it get you medicated like you're smoking?
Yeah, well, for something like this, it's 5 milligrams a pump. Okay. You know, so for me, I got,
yeah.
You know, I need quite a bit for my use. You know, I'm pretty. I need it for all my issues.
Understood. Now, do you prefer smoking a joint or do you prefer a bong? I see you got the dab rig right there as well.
Yeah. Joint's my go-to. That's going to be my old school preference. You know, I love just smoking a joint, but I like to intake it any and all which way, you know, more like in the mornings after I work out, I'll take a nice big dab, you know, and typically I might dab in the morning and then later at night, more dabs, and in between smoke the joints, drink some edible teas and, you know, whatever.
Now, I talked to someone on LinkedIn as well, Michael Dillon. I think he operates Peak Dispensary out of Arizona. He has a tea, cannabis-infused tea. I know you were just talking about that. Do you like that? Is that a common drink that you have when you wake up, or is that like a once
every
a week?
Day? Every day.
Is it THC?
Yep.
Tea, yes. Or is it CBD?
I have different ones. I have one that's all THC. I have some that have a combination of THC and CBD. I also smoke, we actually have our own hemp pre-rolls. We have CBD hemp pre-rolls. I'm big into CBD also because you get the entourage effect when you use both THC and CBD together. It's very good.
And you just stated that you guys have your own hemp CBD company? Or
Pop Brothers at Law CBD.com. We have a whole creams and rubs and all sorts of CBD stuff that we just launched a couple weeks ago, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay. So from the sounds of it, you are getting your CBD product line ramped up. You're talking about a docu-series starting soon. And then is there anything else that you've done in 2020? Going into 2020? Yeah, going into 2021.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, Cannabis Talk 101, our big podcast, you know, we signed the deal with iHeartMedia. So we're the first cannabis podcast to actually partner with a major media conglomerate.
Okay. The first?
Yeah. And so like you'll see cannabis podcasts all over the place and on iHeart Podcast or whatever on the app, but they've put themselves there. They're not partnered with iHeartMedia. We're actually 50-50 partners with iHeartMedia. And we did this just at the end of 2019. And we launched, the whole plan was to launch 4/20/2020 at 4:20 p.m. was the launch date. And the whole thing was planned to have a huge, huge production at the iHeart Studios in Burbank, the iHeart Theater, celebrities, musical acts, you couldn't the whole biggest rollout. And then COVID hits. And we debuted, there's 4 hosts, my brother, me, Blue, and Joe Grande. And we debuted right from each of our own homes, just like this, like everybody else started doing. And so we launched, and we've knock on wood, we've survived it, and we're starting and we're doing well, and we expect bigger things once everything opens back up again. And so I expect a lot more bigger things with Cannabis Talk 101. I mean, we recently interviewed Santana and Tommy Chong, big producer named Rob Weiss. I mean, we're getting lots of big players coming through, and we're interviewing. And it's just a great show, great content, all about everything cannabis from business to who's making waves out there to news to stories of when cannabis goes bad. I mean, it's just every episode is something new. And with everything changing in the political climate, there's never a loss for any type of story as it revolves around cannabis.
Oh,
and more
content.
and more people are touching it. More people are touching it. So that's one of the biggest things that we're looking forward to coming up.
And I would definitely highly recommend that as well. Cannabis Talk 101, for sure. And you can find that only on iHeart, or can you find that across all platforms?
So Cannabis Talk 101 is found on the iHeart app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. It's all over everywhere. We're heard in 119 countries.
Wow. Well, all right. So not only are you worldwide famous, but your talk show is as well.
Yeah, it's getting out there.
Is there any talk shows that you listen to? Like Joe Rogan's, I know everyone watches Joe Rogan.
Love Joe Rogan. You know, I try to listen to things when I can. I don't have a lot of time because we're creating content. But that's one of the ones I try to listen to. Michael Rappaport, you know, who I love. Of course, he had us on, and he's great. But I don't really listen to too many other podcasts. I'm like I said, you know, just so busy doing stuff like this and everything out there.
So with you being busy doing Pop Brothers at Law and creating content such as that and getting your guys' name out there, are you still taking on cases? Or is it
every day? We are a fully functioning, fully working law firm. So we have cases every day. I was in court, you know, every day almost, and just working.
Okay, nice. I like to hear that. And is there any quick crazy story that you might have that you're able to tell, whether it's recent or from the past?
Crazy story?
Yeah, you could basically, that would be a warning to anyone else.
I mean, which one do you want? You got 5 hours? No, here, I'll tell you one. This is a good one. So we represented a guy. He's from Illinois. He has a cannabis medical card in Illinois. And he came to California. And he got a physician's recommendation card for cannabis here in California. And he wanted to get really good stuff, because where do you get the best stuff? California. And so he figured, I have my recommendation. I have my medical card in Illinois. I got one in California. I went to legal licensed shops in California, made legal purchases, had about 7 ounces, which as a medical patient in California with the physician's recommendation, you can have that much. And he figured, okay, well, it's okay. I'm going to jump on the plane and go back home. Well, he jumped on the plane. He had it in his backpack, and they said, no, you're going to jail, because that's a felony to bring any amount, even one joint, onto a plane. Exporting out of an airport any amount of cannabis is a felony in California and most other states. It's a federal crime and a state crime. So he was charged with transportation out of the state with the intent to sell. He said he was going to sell it because it was on all these different packages and because you got a bunch of different strains and everything is packaged differently and separate, and that's how you get it. But they said, no, that's indicative of sales, and you're trying to take it to Chicago, to Illinois to sell it. And so I then went and got a declaration from his doctor in Illinois, a declaration from the doctor here. We got all the receipts. And this was something that I asked him, did you save the receipts? He said, no. I said, go to each one of those shops and tell them when you were here and that you need a copy of your receipt. And they will print it out, because they keep those records. You know, they have to. They have to keep anal records for cannabis businesses. And so he was able to get those receipts. And then I was able to put a motion together with basically saying he wasn't going from Illinois to California and back to try to sell cannabis. He was getting his own medication, which it's illegal just to transport. That's a felony, as well as transport with the intent to sell. That's two different charges. Now, for whatever reason, you know, and it's worse, it's a bigger crime to transport with the intent to sell.
Yeah.
So they chose to charge my client with the intent to sell. And that's how I was able to bring a motion using all the declarations from the doctors showing he's not trying to sell here. You know, he's just trying, he's bringing it back. You didn't charge him with that. And so we ultimately cut a deal where my client had to do some community service. I ended up helping some old folks back in Illinois doing some community service. And we got the case dismissed today.
Today?
Yep. We got the case. It was a year. Yeah, he had to go do some stuff, not get in trouble for a year. And then we got the case dismissed. Came back, it's been a year, got the case dismissed today. So, but the point of it is, it's not legal to fly with cannabis. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whoever you know, everybody you know, you who out there who are going, oh yeah, I do it all the time. You've just gotten away with it. That's all. And there are people who will get away with it forever. And there are people who will do it the first time. And when they try to do it, they get popped. So, you know, you do it at your own risk.
Knock on wood. I feel like I would be that person if I was to try second go through. What?
Right?
Oh, man.
That's it. Yes.
Here I am calling you, Mark.
And he shut the fuck up when he was at the airport dealing with the cops. So there you go.
Okay, so as everyone should know, that script is usable, not only just in the car, but anywhere.
Everywhere in the United States and a lot of other countries, like New Zealand and Canada and the UK. You don't have a Fifth Amendment, but you have the right to shut the fuck up.
So
all over the United States.
I know, that's very true. So before we get out of here and end it, if you don't mind telling us the script one more time.
Will do, absolutely. So the 25 words as the cops are talking to you. Why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? And if detained, you say, I invoke the fifth. And then you shut the fuck up. That is it. It's in use that. You're polite. You're nice. You're not being rude. You're just utilizing your constitutional and civil rights when you deal with law enforcement.
Well, Mark, it was a pleasure having you. I tell your brother as well. Thank you for both of everything that you guys are both doing. Keep it up. Definitely highly recommended. Pot Brothers Outlaw, Mark and Craig Wasserman. Other than that, thank you very much. I hope you have a good one. And
very good. Had a great time. Thanks for having us. Highly recommended. Love it.